Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, OnPay. Without them, we could not be sharing these stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have Natasha Davis with Impact Branding Consulting. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you so much, Lee. How are you? I
am doing well. I'm excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us a little bit about Impact Branding Consulting. How are you serving folks?
Absolutely. So Impact Branding Consulting is an end-to-end strategic planning company, and we work with organizations to support them in their strategic planning endeavors, and we cover from top all the way to bottom. And typically individuals get stuck either in the planning or the implementation side, or they get confused around what should we have on the table as it relates to planning. So that's where we come in, being able to support that company and the brand of that company to make sure that they're experiencing year-to-year growth and streamlined operations each day.
Now, do you have a niche that you serve? Do you work primarily in one industry or another, or is this kind of industry agnostic?
Our industries that we primarily work with, who just tends to gravitate to us, are primarily service providers as well as healthcare and also logistics like trucking companies. And we have a sweet spot where we work with government agencies.
So now what's the pain that they're having right before they call you? What are they frustrated with?
Oh, wow. The biggest pain that they experience are they have projects on the table that are not moving, and they've been there for a long time, and they meet about it over and over again, yet still it never gets implemented or they never see it come to fruition. Another pain point that they typically experience is the leader of the organization realizes that there is something not right, but they can't put their finger on it. They know that something needs to change. They realize that there's issues, but they really can't put their finger on it, and they need help fixing it. A lot of other issues we get are when they're experiencing duplicity or lack of productivity. Those are the real big pain points that our clients have before they get to us.
Now, I would imagine if you're an entrepreneur or a leader in an organization and you're frustrated by those things you just mentioned, life is hard and you can get burned out. You can get frustrated. You can feel like, why am I doing this?
Absolutely. I mean, burnout is one of the biggest things that leaders will experience because, as any leader will also agree, you're constantly thinking. Your brain never shuts off. 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, midday, midnight. It's constantly going, and you're always looking at, how do I make things better? How do I make things more efficient? How do we make more money? How do we stop wasting money? And so burnout will happen when a leader is constantly trying to put something in motion or trying to see something come to a close, and they end up right back at square one. And so having someone to see the blind spot of that leader and to be able to support them in closing the gaps, that is paramount to preventing that type of burnout and frustration.
So now when you're working with an entrepreneur, walk me through what that's like at the beginning. Or is it a lot of asking them questions to kind of get a feel for where they're at and what they're struggling with?
Yeah, so the first thing we come in and say, okay, tell me in your perspective what's wrong. And so we talk to them and say, what's wrong? What's happening? We also then go around the company and actually see the day in motion. So we actually be able to see, here's what you said, but here's what's actually happening, right? And so we get the questions up front answered, and then of course we actually immerse ourselves into the day-to-day operation so we can let me see what's actually happening. A lot of times there is a little bit of distortion between the two thoughts. Here's what should be happening versus here's what's actually happening. So we're able to do that. Once we've gotten through that discovery and assessment phase, we then are able to present to the leader, this is exactly what is taking place. This is what's happening. These are some of the gaps that we found. And at that point, we then devise a very clean and strategic way in order to close those gaps and to eliminate what has been holding the company down from progressing forward.
Now, when you're working with folks, is this something that when you come with that kind of list of, okay, these are the 106 things that we see where there's opportunity. Is it something that you actually have a team that helps them go through that list, or is it something that you just say, here's the list, go forth and start knocking them out?
No, we actually support the implementation and the correction. One of the things that I do believe in after being in business for going on 18 years now is if the person or the company and the team could have done it, they would have. And so once they have asked for support and asked for help, it does not behoove us to say, okay, here's what we found is wrong. Follow this checklist, fix it, and then we'll check in with you 6 months. No, we actually stay on and we support the corrective action that needs to be taken. We also be able to manage the implementation. And a sweet spot for us is that I created a software called the Profit Enhancer, and we actually use that tool in order to help us and the company laser focus on the gaps so that we are course correcting what's actually wrong and not what we think is wrong. So we don't have guesstimation in the way that we serve our clients. We actually work from an evidence-based strategic perspective.
So then I would imagine that you're having kind of check-ins to make sure that you're accurately and efficiently going through and solving each of those problems as they come about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have standard monthly, what we call strategic action review meetings, where every single month we are not only going over what's been done, what's been corrected, but what else is pending, what else has come up. So every single month we actually meet with our clients so that nothing slips through the cracks and nothing is delayed. My main thing is we need to keep things moving forward and we can't have delays. So that helps us to prevent those forms of delays. Unnecessary delays is what I call it. Because we can catch it ahead of time. We don't have to wait until 6 months to find out, oh, so this was the problem. Oh, this is what's not working. We actually get ahead of it.
Now, when you're working with leadership, is any of your kind of activity in helping the leadership get the most out of their leadership, like in terms of coaching, in terms of kind of taking on an individual to teach them some of these skills to be better leaders?
That is one of the sweet spots to what we do. So when a company brings us on, they actually get the best of both worlds. They're getting not only the consultant, but they're also getting a coach along the way. And we work with the leadership team or the executive to make sure that we are helping them to see their blind spots and we're helping them to elevate their thinking and take the lid off their thinking. Every leader struggles with imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter what size company they're running, how long they've been in. Every single leader, every single executive struggles with some form of imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome changes and evolves as the company evolves. And so the bigger the company gets, the more that the company does, the bigger contracts they get. Every leader, because we're all human, right? Every leader has that, oh my gosh, can we really do this? Are we really qualified? Am I making the right decision? And oftentimes having that voice and that soundboard to say, okay, here's what I'm thinking. Because see, the leader and the executive can't go back to their team on a weekly or daily basis saying, oh my God, I feel like I made the wrong decision. Oh my God, I don't know they can't do that. They really can't. You can be transparent up to a certain level, but the executive and the leader is guiding the ship. And if the leader or the executive isn't appearing confident and cohesive and complete, well, that's going to transcend through the team. And so the leader has to have someone on their side where they can be 100% vulnerable and transparent, where there is no opportunity that there's a loss of respect for that leader. So having the coach is paramount, is huge to what we do.
Well, I would imagine because it is kind of that safe sounding board to help them kind of get the best out of themselves and their team.
Exactly. Sometimes they just want to talk through some things and figure things out or evaluate it. Especially every company has had a loss. We always strive for wins, but every company has had a loss. Being able to truly dissect that loss and understanding what happened and how to prevent it, that happens on so many levels where you can do it with the team, but a true executive and a leader, they always put it back on their shoulders. What could I have done better? What did I miss? Or even better, how did I miss that? That's that question. How did I miss it? How did I not see that? What could I have done better? Did I do the best that I could have? Or should I have even taken that? Should we have done that? And so being able to have a leader or executive having that person who's not going to judge, who's going to help them stay committed to, here's what I'm envisioning, because that's the key thing. The company has to perform the way that the leader is envisioning it. The leader always has a vision of how this company is to perform. But sometimes when the company is not performing in alignment with that vision, that is even more so. There's a lot of struggle and challenges there. So we're able to definitely come in and support that leader in that space as well as support the company to move forward.
Now, when you're working with an organization, is there kind of a typical first engagement with you or your team?
A first engagement, typically, I can tell you, typically what happens is initially, once, they say yes to the dress, right? And they say, yes, let's get moving. Typically what happens is there are two sides. There's an essence of relief and hope, and that's there. And then on the other side, there's that piece of anxiety. Is this person, is this company, is this team really going to support us? Because let's be honest, there are companies that have hired other consulting firms that underdelivered. They underdelivered. They overpromised and they severely underdelivered. And so therefore the increased anxiety is there. Am I going to get what I really need? And so therefore there's higher touches that are needed in the beginning of our agreement. And that's what we realize, which is why we don't bill our clients or invoice it on an hourly basis. We have a standard package rate and everything is included in there. Usually in the beginning, new clients will need us a lot more just because they need that comfort, they need that support. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on that need to be fixed, and we don't bill on an hourly. So therefore we remove that hesitation, we remove that restriction by saying, because we're truly here, we're here to support our clients, we're true partners, and we come in total alignment with them.
Now, do you do something that helps them get maybe a quick win so they can see like, okay, we are making progress pretty quickly here?
Absolutely. Our Profit Enhancer software is one of the tools that we use to laser focus on the things that are most broken, right? The things that are most broken. And then we also devise a plan and a strategy for let's fix the things that we can fix quick, fast, immediately. So we have our 30-day, 60-day, and our 90-day markers, and we literally are tracking it that way. Here's what we can definitely get fixed in the first 30 days. And then, of course, we have that 90 days. So once we started, we do like our kickoff meeting. Even though we are developing the year's worth of here's what needs to transpire through the year, we drill down into the first 90 days. And that is what we get to work on. First 90 days, here's what we can fix. Here are the things that's most burdening or weighing down a company. And so we put those strategies in place and that plan in place, and we look at the first 90 days. And then, of course, we look in quarterly increments of how we're continuing to course correct. At the end of the day, we have a 12-month plan, and we are chunking it out in quarters. Every quarter, we're solving more issues. So when we get to the end of the day, our clients are much further ahead than they were when they started with us.
Now, can you share a story where you had a big impact or that was rewarding for you personally or your team? Don't name any names, but maybe talk about what the backstory was, what they were frustrated with and struggling with, and how you were able to help them get to a new level.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, you know what? There's a really good one. We actually was contacted by a client. They're a company. They were in business at the time when they started with us. They were in business going on 14 years. And who actually contacted us? It wasn't even the owner. It was the office manager that contacted us. They found us online and they contacted us, and they was like, listen, we need help. And our owner is running like a chicken without a head. We're doing well, but things are not well. And I had a conversation and I said, okay, we need to talk to the owner. When I talked to the owner was like, I don't know. I mean, we've done this before. We didn't get the help we needed. We work with other companies, and it ended up just being a lot of waste. And so we worked with the client and we told them this is what our plan is. And within the first 90 days, and the client was, be honest, they was like, oh my gosh, this took a year for other companies to help us achieve. The biggest thing that happened, and I found out, because I tell you, I get in your business because I'm here to support you end to end, top to bottom. What I found out is that the owner had not taken a real vacation in over 4 years. The owner also had dipped into their retirement funding to support certain areas of the business. When the business had a valley, the owner dipped into that, and the company did not have a solid profit account. And I told her, I said, we're going to fix this. In the first year, we're going to fix this. And of course, she was like, yeah, we'll see about that. And I was like, no problem. Well, I'll have you know, in the first year, our client was able to finally take a vacation, a real vacation, where they were untethered from their device. They actually were able to build over 5 months worth of savings for the company. So whatever it costs to run the business every month, we were able to support them in developing 5 months worth of savings for that. And we crossed into the 14th month. After that, we replenished the money that they took out of their retirement account. That to me was the most beautiful thing, because as an owner of a business, as an entrepreneur, we don't start a business to fail. We start a business to succeed, to win, and also to give us the freedom and the lifestyle that we are looking for. Unfortunately, sometimes business owners will start it with the opposite mindset. I'm going to create a business and then I'll create a lifestyle. Well, I come from a different place. I want to know what your lifestyle vision is, and then we build the business to meet the demands of the lifestyle. That is a different approach and a different school of thought. And that's how we did. And that's how we was able to serve her. And that client has been with us going on 3 years. And they're like, we're not leaving. We have no intention on leaving at all. So yeah, so we've been blessed to earn their trust and their business for 3 consecutive years.
Well, congratulations on all the success. It's an amazing story, and the value you provide is obvious. If somebody wants to learn more, have a more substantive conversation with you or somebody on your team, what is the website?
The website is impactbrandingconsulting.org. It's impactbrandingconsulting.org. And that's where you can find information. And for someone who wants to just have an exploratory conversation, we do offer a 30-minute, no obligation, no stress, complimentary chat. It's called a power chat, where we can just hear what's going on and see if there's an opportunity to serve and support.
Well, Natasha, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor to be here.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you next time on Atlanta Business Radio.
Today's episode of Atlanta Business Radio is brought to you by OnPay. Built in Atlanta, OnPay is the top-rated payroll and HR software anywhere. Get 1 month free at onpay.com.